There's day 1296 with the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, and back at the home base. But the war is still on, and we should be zeicher to see Yeshua's and Nechamos. And Nisim B'Plos, as Am Yisrael deserves. We are today doing your idea Simakuf Tari Vav Sif Yud Zayin to Chav Dalid. Kasvatur. Kol B'dikas say writes all this because Ben B'dikas Hefsek Tara, Ben B'dikas called Shiva. Where the speak of Hefsek Tara is because of all the 7 days. Glo Tivdog Lo Beker Shechor Lo Adom, not with a black cloth nor a red cloth. Lo Beker Pishno Chadash, not with a new linen cloth. I feel Shu Naki B'Lovan, even if it's clean and white. Neshu Kash because it's hard, scratches. Ela B'Tzemer Naki B'Rach, but rather with soft wool, or cotton. A big package or an old linen garment should not be rach, which is clean and soft. You should put it into the nooks and crannies and up to the point where the male organ reaches in. Meanwhile, Stakhiv doesn't do this low have which is wiping. And he should not fulfill the obligation of checking a kalashona. If anybody says the Sifra Agol is my mare, the BAB says it was bitter. That you should put the cloth to the place where the organ reaches. You can't get that far in. Of course, it depends on the length of the organ. She tries to get her fingers so deeply in. She's going to ruin herself by scratching herself through this check. And she's going to cause herself to bleed through these scratches. And so too say the wise women, Baskanim and the elders Shubi Yamav, Hisramu Abdikazu Ayin Sham, and the elders who in his days they were upset at this whole notion of this deep Bdika Ayin Sham. Yes, because of those who are Shabemats, income on the tour. The intent of the tour is not Bidafka Makam Huli to get so deeply in. And Adafa Ba'alma, because the King wrote that as an ideal. But Kivu Rakshach Niskon is made is just getting nooks and crannies. Looking at Bahama, not just a light wiping on the inside. It's wiping and checking. In the back, he says here, the best they said for wiping and not for checking. Because Rashi B'dika is the kind of talking about checking really means to get into nooks and crannies. Chavches. Rabbeinu says he says to himself that the Torah wrote this as an impediment, as a requirement. Vav Katur, that's a paskin like the Torah. But he added, but so they're deeply inside. Shall have at least the checking of the Hefsek Tara on the evening of her first day, and the bdika of the first day itself, may hashiva of the 7 days, as far as the organ can get in. The Rama are writes about this. Im lo asla came because she didn't do this when she checked the first day. Tasa came because she didn't do it on the other days. However, im lo asla klal, she didn't do it at all. Raksha, but got some of the was talking. She just checked this up deeply as far as she could. Even though it didn't reach the place where the organ gets in, that's sufficient. End quote. This is according to the opinion which holds that even the Torah did not say it as a mandatory requirement. Later, the women who give birth or some other reason, she gets pieces falling out of the womb, and they make for them a ring of wax or of a soft bone. They call it a bagel. They call it a bagel. The scientific term. They put it very deeply into the womb. So if she's able to take it out of the womb, vadai, she certainly before she checks herself. She can't because it's dangerous for her to remove it. So she can still check. She to put the cloth lap closed door into the into the vestibule, but all make deeply the Tashen Shem Komesh Moshes and leave it there all the time twilight. The Tigo Chom Komas and check everywhere. Five Shimoga Dabas, you know you call the dog. I can't check a place where the ring comes between the skin and the Tigo cloth. We don't assume, we don't suspect that the place where the ring is impedes the blood from coming out. But the so it's not misham. If there was blood underneath the ring, it would have flowed out. They said the moch agav zeah mikvah covets the cloth contracts when it gets moist, and the blood will come out. And certainly that's about a cloth. Certainly the ring, which is smooth. That would not impede the blood, would flow right out. The check which we mentioned, that she was there during the entire twilight, was there rock because it's only in the first check between the night and the first day. Really? I think it was only one time the first time I have Sektara, and that's only one of the other ones. Maybe it's going to... It's finished to me. I think it'll be a cholta. It's enough to do as much as she possibly can. And she will say several times in their chuvas. So he sticks with that, well, that would not be conventional for sure. A woman who is blind, she could check herself and show what she got to her friends. The bears a woman who is deaf, is mute but not deaf. Vice versa. She's like a regular, fully cognizant, cognizant woman. Both decades for about she can check and see the stain on her own. I mean, she can neither. She's deaf mute. Here and so too. Someone who's insane. Oh, she did for daito. She's had a nervous breakdown, something like that, because of sickness. Other women have to check them. Like boil and vessels to determine the vessels should be permitted their husbands. And then they themselves, you cannot rely on anything. They have no that's all. However, if other people ascertain for them a vesses, they're like any other woman, they're permitted their husbands when it's not done the vesses. If they don't have a set cycle, we take an average one time 30 days. Any woman who checks frequently, whether when even if she doesn't see any blood, she's praiseworthy. Bracket says here, but a woman who has a wound over there. In that place where we say we assume it's the wound, she should only check what she's compelled to check, bidina, according to the strictest letter of the law, meaning the most lenient letter of the law. Commotion as far as we have seen. These 7 days, they gotta be completely clean. I feel she sees blood even the end of 7 days, so it starts calling me in. But it undermines the entire count. Even according to the Doraisa, because the Doraisa she was a Zaba. And she does Shimon Akim to receive a Safar, she was Yom Echati, it's got to complete a full 7 days to become, then afterwards come to her. Because that after is superfluous. That when the Mitzvah Safar, she was Yom Echati, just count 7 days, she become Torah. And my Achar, what does it mean? Achar Kulam, after all of them. There shouldn't be any Tuma amidst these days. She counts, sees after 7 days, according to the Torah, it's the beginning of Nida. The John, according to his, he owed Zava. Too bad. She doesn't need Shivakim Mechenu. Tell me that's always going to be so close to Shivakim anytime. She requires 7 clean days. I mean, it's because of Rabbeinu Ramah, but if you know the Ramah, right? Some say the Gimel Yom Rishon, the first 3 days, Shali Meisi, Asvira, of the day she's counting her 7 clean days. Imatzah Kesed, she finds the state, Ain't Tolina Solakel, we can't be lenient. Commotion telling sharks are like we normally are by stains. The Shloshim and Rishayim, the first 3 days, Tzrichim, the Yostikim, gotta be super clean completely. Avima Acharkach, Lino Shtarkis. The first 3 days, when you've established already Chazok of Tara, then whatever she sees is assumed to be a Kesem, and it's not necessarily Tomei. And that's the custom. There's only about a kesem which is more than size of gris. That the first 3 days, he suggests v'machmer. Our opposing gris, however, if it's less than a gris plus, then Tola b'chinot, you can assume it has to do with the louse. I feel Shloshim Mishayim even during the first 3 days. But the Maya La Maka Gufa saying she had a wound. The Yudash Mitzvah Damish knows it emits blood. Tola b'afil Yosef a gris, so she can assume that's where it comes from, even if it's more than a gris plus. But during the first 2 days, you don't assume that it came from a mako, which we don't know about, and that's motzi the blood. Other things which would be totally would normally even though these days are really clean. Fine, we should be sure that no blood is going to come out. Therefore, it follows. When she sees a stain, but Hanakim, the 7 clean days have been nullified. Come over your mom says if she saw actual blood flowing, because anyway, the stain has to do with what you might see. When we can attribute the kesem to some other cause, then we can attribute that cause. The low create yemei nekim yemei atara shetolim b'hem. The mei nekim l'shem nekim are no difference than the mei atara, where we assume that she means tahara. Mia nevertheless, the first day shadayin luchsa ketayra, but tahara she's not yet assumed to be tahara. So now, like after its first 2 days, when she's already by default assumed to be taught. Therefore, in those 3 days, we only make assumptions we have something clear cut, not practical, clear cut. Not existential, circumstantial. As well as and then it's not because we're assuming that's what happened. Which lets us agree, so we assume it has to do with the louse. The zehu kedavar borim ne'amachos. That's for sure true because the louse. Well, okay, if not, besides that, of the story said, if not, it's like case and every woman never comes to her husband. It's also true by a wound which is bleeding. It's clear, like it's clear. We're compelled to say that this makkah is going to produce blood. That's where it goes. Because of those who say that it's on account of her source being considered open. But in any case, it's not true. The mayam b'suach ain't el b'yom rishon. Mayam b'suach is on the first day. Kamosh is as we said. B'katan kamosh kasad the main is as we said. Mishum ta'adayin lo huso b'tara. She doesn't yet have a cheskes tara. V'yeshish makar b'makar af she'yadu shemotzi adam. Those are makar by a makar even if it's known that the makar is producing blood. But Christ that's the shach. Christ love kama gideile. Several gideile Torah have heard of the shach. Ramadan. Amnam hani nashi done our women. Masculinely part of these part of Yom Shisha has to start counting anyway. 6th day after minimum, the 6th day after she saw blood. But it's like they came to Shlosh Yom. The shows that since 3 days have passed. Totally gone by Shlosh Yom Rishon Yominikin. We also listen to the first 3 days of the Sheminikim are also Cheskes Tara. For example, Baruch Frankel says this as well. The Ramah said about who when she sees within the days of counting clean. She came to me on account of a kesem. Then we can also be making on the first 3 days. It's only real long. Moria no longer asks the question of what day it is, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, etc. So it seems they should ask, maybe it's for the first 3 days. Based on what we said, it works out well. Because if you're going to be concerned that maybe she's during those days, or that was all the shkei is not prevalent. So we don't have to ask at all. Hey, David, do it's well known. Shekamosh Zav Tzikush just like a Zav requires 70 days. Okay, a Zav, so to the male Zav. See, but Teire, Kaksu Teire says the Torah, Zav the Shabra carry talks Zav, shall carry talks Yom in Akim. If a Zav sees even Shich Hazera, turning the Kim, so it undermines count of 1 day. Okay, a Zav is about the Shich Hazera, so do a Zav who emits semen from last time they had relations. Tina Kazav Shara Keri, he's like a Zav who saw Keri. Shari Dover Echad, it's the same thing. So it says Yom Echad loses a day. She loses a day. Vav Sharash does by same Shem arrives out Shazel, rock the Taras Lobal. Even though the Rash brings down there's only a point for Taras and not for her husband. So the Echad does not apply in this case. I made a mistake. It's the wrong day. This is the next day. This is actually number 1297. I have to go back into 1296. Whoops. I just realized that. I was looking up to see how far we had to get, and then I realized, well, we have to get to Lamed Dalet, which is basically what we're up to. So we just started Lamed Hay, which is unnecessary, superfluous for today. So, let's stop and pick up Lamed Hay when the time comes.